Welcome to Barrett-Jackson, West Palm Beach. This is probably the fourth time I've ever been to this event, and this is the first time I've ever been here on a Saturday. I'm going to try to conserve as much battery as I can and show you the most as possible. So let's check it out and go inside. Let me show you some of these cars in the exhibit hall before it gets way too busy. This is a 2024 Corvette E-Ray, which is a electric hybrid Corvette, first one ever. It has like a sub 0 to 60 time under 3 seconds. Probably one of the fastest accelerating Corvettes ever produced. And you can tell an E-Ray from a regular Stingray because all the body accessory panels that are normally black are painted body color, like these front bumper pieces and also the trim on the door, the little air intake opening. Those are all painted body color compared to what the Stingray is. Also, you get these 5-star wheels that are E-Ray exclusive, body painted to match spoiler. As you can see in here in the cutaway car, your batteries are right here. This is where your lithium ion batteries are, right here in that center console area. Now here are your lithium ion batteries for the hybrid system right here. The engine does recharge these batteries, so you don't have to keep plugging it in every time you go somewhere. It does recharge the batteries like a remember the Chevy Volt does the same thing. So this is kind of a upgraded version of a Chevy Volt system in a Corvette, which I'm more acceptable to this one than if it was a full electric car. So I like it. This is the future. I'm all about it. But if it's a full electric Corvette, I don't know if I'd be so acceptable to it. But it's pretty cool from GM. The E-Ray electric hybrid Corvette. Now this is pretty awesome. This is a full carbon fiber 1970 Dodge Charger body with a modern drivetrain. You can see the 6.2 liter Hellcat engine, 707 horsepower. Check it out. This is a full carbon fiber body, which is amazing. Doors, roof, fenders, quarter panels.
There's room under there if you wanted to stuff something a little bigger. Really? Yeah.
Of course, the modern take on a pistol grip shifter.
It's an original grill.
It's crazy. As you can tell, even the bumper is carbon fiber. It has molded in the exhaust. This is normally a chrome bumper, but he made it all carbon fiber, put it in the exhaust cutouts, and the bumper and molded it all together. And of course, in the Ford area is the brand new Dark Horse Mustang 2024. 500 horsepower, pretty much a very mean Mustang. And the Dark Horse, to really tell it different from the other Mustangs from 2024, you have these gray front area grill piece. Normally that'd be body color or black, while the Dark Horse is gray. I think you can get them black, but I'm not positive. But these Dark Horses are very beautiful Mustangs. I think Ford and RTR with Von Gittin Jr. teamed up to build these cars, or at least collaborated to get these out. And of course, here's the Dark Horse logo. Very cool. This is probably the press car you see all over the magazines and the shows you see on the internet, and when they unveiled it back in Detroit over this months ago. But first one I've seen in person. I don't even think they're out yet. Probably gonna come out this summer, if I'm not mistaken. But a 2024 Dark Horse Mustang. What a way to kick off the first car outside. 1990 Lancia Group B rally car. This is a real deal rally car. This ain't no replica made into a Group B rally car. This is the Lancia Group B rally car. Fully restored recently. Has those famous martini colors.
Alright guys, thanks.
take a look inside here. I'm gonna show you. Pretty awesome. You don't see these every day. I can't remember. This thing is the first real one I've ever seen. I've seen plenty of replicas of these in the Audis, but this is just insane to see a real one that's restored. As restored correctly. Oh, it's gonna be an awesome day. Now, this is a pretty rare Mustang. I've only seen a couple of these in my life. This is number 15 of 45, 2009 45th anniversary Iacocca edition Mustangs. Now, of course, Iacocca was the guy who came up with the concept of the Mustang using a Ford Falcon chassis and putting a new redesigned attractive body on it and call it a Mustang, and they sold like hotcakes the first year. They were everywhere advertised. Saved Ford in the early 60s and made Mustang what it is today. Without Iacocca, you would not have the Mustang. And of course, in the 80s, he saved Chrysler with the K car, which gave birth to the minivan. What's unique to the Iacocca Mustangs is that it's a true fastback. When these cars, like a 2009 Mustang, it would have a fastback, but it would end like right here and would flat out. This actually has the fastback that you would see in a 67, 68 Mustang. It actually has that fastback look that goes from the roof all the way to the end of the trunk. On these, there is no window here. These were blocked off. And it has a larger rear window to complement the fastback styling. Let me show you the other side what I'm talking about. See, now it has a sloping back window and matches the back here. Everything is sloped. It's not flat like you saw on the production one. So it has that curved look to it. I wish the production models were just like this. The 2024s are getting close, but it still has a flat lid on it, flat trunk lid. But I love this fastback look on these newer Mustangs to replicate the 60s version. But of course, everything looks pretty much like an 09 Mustang with some upgrades with the seats. And of course, the 6-speed transmission and the factory cluster and everything. It has a supercharged, I think it's a 4.6 or a 5.4. Most likely a 5.4. Iacocca Mustang. Now this is something really special here. This is a 2020 Ford GT Heritage Edition. Now you have your regular edition Ford GTs. You have the select colors you can get, and you can add or delete a stripe. Now the Heritage Editions are made to replicate the race cars that were made famous at Le Mans. So every year Ford produced a Ford GT, you had Heritage Editions which had the same paint schemes as the winning cars from Le Mans from 1966 to 1969, which they won overall at Le Mans. 2020, they had the 1969 livery on these Ford GTs for the Heritage Edition. Now these were made to commemorate the Gulf Fuel Ford GTs from the 1969 season at Le Mans. And these go for a little higher premium than the normal Ford GTs when they resell them. And of course, when you buy a Ford GT, you had to sign a waiver. You couldn't sell it in 2 years. Of course, John Cena was made famous because he sold his Ford GT less than a year and he bought it and tried to resell it at Mecum. And Ford got upset about that. Here it is, a Ford GT 2020. I'm sure this is going to be like a $500,000 car, or maybe more, depends on how many people want it. Now here's something on the opposite end on the Ford spectrum. We go from a Ford GT to a 1980 Ford Pinto Country Squire 2-door wagon. Now I can't remember ever seeing one of these, especially a 1980 Pinto to begin with. You usually see like the 70s versions. This car has less than 10,000 miles on it. It's been kept very well. Wood on the side looks very good for the age, but I doubt they make replacement stuff for this. It has some minor damage here on the fender here, but it's all original. It's all locked up and rolled up, so it can't really get good interior shots of it, but it's probably the best 1980 Pinto on the market right now. Lots of variety of cars, from most expensive to bargains here at Barrett-Jackson. Now this is really cool. This is a replica Mirth mobile from the movie Wayne's World. Of course, it's an AMC Pacer. But if I remember correctly, I think this car was a little bit lighter shade of blue in the movies. They've got a lot of the details that was in the movies down to the flame on the side here and the mismatched hubcaps and wheels. And of course you can't have a Mirth mobile without the licorice dispenser for Garth.
Would you like some red rope licorice?
Why, sure.
What is missing is the tape deck that was on the dash.
I think I'm gonna put on some tunes.
Hey, where'd you get the CD player?
When we got the money.
An original AMC interior. But that's cool. And of course the premise for the second movie was Wayne stock.
It's a festival.
Festival.
The festival. You heard the man.
It's charming. What's it called?
What's it called? It's called, Waynestock. It's called Waynestock.
Waynestock.
Who's gonna be at Waynestock?
Aerosmith and Pearl Jam.
It's really good. It's really well done. If I bought this, I'd just recreate scenes from the movie and do like filming locations of Wayne's World in this thing. Now this is the ultimate Florida car. It's a 1964 Amphicar 770. Now the 770 means 7 miles an hour on water and 70 miles an hour on land. You can actually ride one of these at Disney Boathouse restaurant. I think for a little over $100 for you and 3 of your friends. You can actually ride these at the lake on Disney Springs. As you can tell with these cars to be watertight, there's actually a latch down here that seals the door shut so that it keeps the water out. Of course, back here is where your engine is, and here's the props for the boat. Now, I think there's a switch or a lever in here that brings the power to the back, to the outboards, but I'm not a boat person, but I would definitely buy one of these. 2 of my dream cars right here. It's the 85 Grand National and an 87 Grand National. Tell the difference between an 86 and earlier Grand National, just for appearance wise, is the grille. You had a chrome trim above and a center chrome strip in the middle. The 87s were mostly all black on the grille. So a lot of people switch the 87 grills out on their 86s and earlier Grand Nationals, which is fine. I'll probably do the same thing as well. Buick built Grand Nationals from 82 to 87 to commemorate their success in NASCAR. So the Grand National name came from NASCAR, which was the top series name at the time. Even though it was Winston Cup, they couldn't call it a Buick Winston Cup, so they took the Grand National name, got it on loan from NASCAR, and actually called it a Buick Grand National. And of course, Bobby Allison won the championship in this in like 82 with his Miller High Life Buick. Darrell Waltrip as well in the Mountain Dew Buick, getting very popular and very expensive year by year, especially the G&X. G&Xs are 6-figure cars now, which is hard to believe. But for even a good Grand National, this sold for $35,000 and this is a $41,000. It sold for $41,000 the other day, so they're getting up there. I mean, before you know it, these are close to 6-figure cars as well. Here's something you don't see every day. 1969 Ford Torino Talladega. Well, 68, these were dominant on the super speedways. So dominant that Chrysler came out with the Dodge Daytona with the wing and the nose. And Ford actually has more wins in that era compared to the wing cars on the super speedways. In 1969, Richard Petty actually drove one of these full season because Chrysler would not make him a wing car because he was a Plymouth guy and Plymouth didn't want to see him in a Dodge. He was forced to go across town and struck a deal with Ford the same day. 1969, Richard Petty in a Ford, 1 year only, and it was in one of these, a Ford Torino Talladega. And of course, all Torino Talladegas had the 428 engine in it. This one actually has the automatic, but I'd rather have the 4-speed, of course. But awesome example of era wars in NASCAR in the late 60s, early 70s, before they were outlawed. And of course, what makes the obvious reason is the Talladega is the slope nose. Originally, a Torino would like be right here as the front, so it has a slope nose for aerodynamics. 2008 SRT8 Dodge Challenger. First year of the return of the Dodge Challenger, you get a 5-speed manual transmission, And it's crazy to see how these things grow since 2008. You know, with the Hellcat, the Demon, Scat Pack, all those specialty sub-brands of the Challenger. And now this year is the last year of the Challenger. 2023, the last one's supposed to roll off in like January of 2024, but since 2008, Challenger has been going strong, and now sadly it's in its final year of production. But here's where it all started: 2008 SRT8. Here's another end of the era, a 2002 Pontiac Trans Am, very last year of the Trans Am that ever was produced. Back in 02, like, people weren't buying cars, people were living on the SUV craze. GM made a wise decision of quit producing the Trans Am, Firebird, and the Camaro. To replace it was the SSR. But of course that eventually faded off, and the Camaro eventually came back in 2010. Pontiac was already out the window by then, and Trans Am or Firebird was never produced, except for the Trans Am Depot in Tallahassee. They actually bought the Pontiac name and the Trans Am name from GM, and they're producing Trans Ams themselves. This is a holy grail car right here. This is a 1987 Buick GNX, a real GNX, number 273 of 547. To tell a Grand National GNX from a Grand National, you have these fender bulges, and also you have the fender vent. You also have these wider, these one-off GNX wheels, and you have the intercooler, and you have a bigger turbo than a regular GNX. But the interior is pretty much the same, except for the special dash plaque on the passenger side. And it also has a traction bar up underneath, so that's the only way you can really tell a GNX from a Grand National. If you were to make a GNX replica, and when you power brake it, it actually lifts the rear end up. So if you want to check the plate here, you only see these on GNXs. They're at 273 of 547. My dream car, holy grail car right here. If I could ever, these are 6-figure cars now. Over $100,000 for a nice pristine one. This only has less than 4,000 miles on it, so it's a big money car right here.
The interior? Yeah, the interior was done, the chassis, everything that wasn't. $160,000, $160,000, $160,000, $160,000, $60,000, $70,000, $80,000, $80,000, $180,000, $180,000, $880,000, $80, $90, now $222, and $222, $892, and $200,000, and $210, and $210, and $210, and $200, now $10, and $210,000, $10, 10, anyone 10, and $210, and $210,000, yes or no at 10, and $210,000, and $210,000, Shane, go ahead, Woody, you're out, I got Kevin in.
2023 Chevy Corvette Z06, ladies and gentlemen. Car rides on carbon fiber wheels, has black exhaust tips, the beautiful orange calipers.
10, 9, 210, and $210,000, and $210,000, and $210,000, 10, 20, and 220, Kevin, you're out, and 220, and 210, 20, and $220,000, what do you want to pay to get a $220,000, and $220,000, Woody's in the lead, and 210, 220, and 220, and $220,000 all through, and $220,000, and $220,000, but to get down 20, to get down $20,000, and that car is So for $210,000.
12 Barchetta Roadster Recreation. Now this recreation is powered by a 4-liter Colombo V12 engine with triple Weber carburetors, including velocity stacks. Here's lot number 735.
I'm taking a body pain, having another $100, taking out a singer, taking out $500,000. I'm taking a body pain, $50,000, $75,000, $85,555, and $85,000, down, taking up $85,555, $85,555, $85,555, on a taking up $85,000, now $100, and $85,000, and $125,000, $110,000, $110,000, $110,000, $110,000, $120,000, down, taking up $110,000, $20,000, $30,000, down, taking up $40,000, $40,000, $150,000, $150,000, $60,000, $160,000, $160,000, down, taking up you want to pay to get 170, 170, 80, 180, 880, 880, 880, 80, 80 to the right a little bit, 180,000, 90,000, on 222, and 200,000 on it, and take it down, 10, and 210, 20, and 220,000 on it, and 220,000 on it, down, but to get down, 20, down, pay to get down, what you want to pay to get down, 20 way, and 220,000 on it, and 220,000 on it, down, but to get down, what you want to pay to get down, 220 pounds, change, 20.
This example is based on the chassis and running gear of a donor 1965 Ferrari 330. It's been properly maintained by the vintage Ferrari expert Greg Jones for over a decade.
15, now 20, and 220,000 on it, and 220,000, 5, and 530, and 230, and 230, and 230, 130 on it, but to get down, 230, 40, and 240, 50, and 250,000 on it, down, but to get down, 40, 50, and now 60, and 70, and 270,000 on it, and 270,000 on it, and 270,000 on it, down, but to get down, what do you want to pay to get down, 270,000 on it all through, and 270,000, and 270, and 270,000 on it, and 270,000 on it, down, but to get it all through, well done, and 270,000 on it, and 270 on it, down, and to get everybody through, everybody done, and 270,000, Shane, go ahead.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, a remarkable example. This Ferrari has been stored in a climate-controlled facility. It was awarded the Special Recognition Award of the Ocean Reef Vintage Weekend in 2022.
70, I had to get down 270,000 on it, and 270,000 on it, now to get down 80, and 280 pound on it, and 270, love you, and 280, and 280 pound on it, now so for $270,000, Patrick.
By Eleanor Tribute Edition. That's a big deal, folks. We built FE 428 cubic inch engines, got the top loader 4-speed, 2.5-inch exhaust, electric double controlled exhaust dumps. This thing has everything you can imagine, inside, outside, upside down. It's absolutely impeccable. It's a licensed edition, so buy it with confidence. Coming from a great consignor, here's your opportunity to buy a real Tribute Edition Eleanor.
Alright, how to get down, how do you pay? $100, how to get down 70, get back, how to get down, how do you pay? $200,000 on it, how to get down 70, get $50,000, 75 pounds on it, and 75, and 75, 5, on it, pay to get down 75 pounds on it, pay to get down, how do you want to pay to get down 75, 5, and 75,000 on it, how to get down 75,000 on it, and 75,000 on it, and 50,000 on it, 60,000 on it, and 60,000 on it, how to get down 70,000 on it, how to pay to get down 70,000 on it, and 80, on it, pay to get down 80,000 on it, and 80,000 on it, and 80,000 on it, how to get down 80 grand, 80 grand, 80 grand, 90 grand, and 80 pound on it, 90 to 100, and 100 pound on it, and 100,000 on it, how to get down 1, how to get down 100 pound on it, now 10, 110, 20, 120, 20, how to get down 20 pound on it, how to pay to get down to get to 30, 130, 40, 840,000 on it, 840,000 on it, how to get down 20, how to pay to get down 140,000 on it, 140, 840,000 on it, how to get down to get a singer to get all through, 840,000 on it, 140,000 on it, how to get down 40, 40 pound on it, out of here, 140,000 on it, 140,000 on it, out of it to get down, Shane, 140.
Custom low black leather seats, leather center console, matching dash with stainless steel.
540, I'd had to get down 135, 140, 135, 140 pound on it, out of it to get down 40, 135, 140 pound on it, all through, 140,000 on it, and 140,000 on it, and 140,000 on it, out of it to get down, what do you want to pay to get down, 40, 840,000 on it, out of it to get all through, well done, and I have, so for 135,000. And to get out to get this thing, to get down 200 pound on it, and to get 50, now 75, and 75,000 on it, out of it to get down 75, 5 on it, to get down 75 pound on it, and 75 on it, to get down 60, 70, and 70,000 on it, and 70,000 on it, out of it to get down 70 pound on it, out of it to get down to get this thing, to get down 70 pound on it, and 70,000, and 70,000 on it, out of it to get down 70 pound on it, out of it to get down to get it here, now 80, and 70 pound on it, 80, and 80, on it, to get down 80 pound on it, and 80,000 on it, out of it to get down, what do you want to pay to get down 80,
80, on the get up £80 and 80, 90, and 90,000 and 90,000 down to get down $90,000 down and pay to get up what do you want to pay? And $80,000, $90,000 down and pay to get up $80 and $90 down to get up crash. Go ahead.
Cosmetically restored, one of only about 1,253 fastbacks built in 1968.
90, I'm ready to get down 80,000, 90,000, and 90,000 down and 90,000 down to get down 90,000 good. I to get down $90,000 and $80,000, $90,000 down to get down to get a singer to get down what do you want to pay to get down 90 grand and 85, 90, and 85, 90, and 85 to get down $90,000 down and pay to get down who? Right to get down $90,000 and 90,000 and 90,000 out of 5 and 95 and 95 and 95 5 on pay to get down 95 to get down 95 to get down $95,000 and 95 to get down 5 on pay to get down 95. Anybody else all through and 95,000. Hey Craig, they're missing the boat on this car. Better car than that. 95,000. 95,000 and 95,000 on it. And 95,000 on it down to get down 95 5 on it to get down high 95 and 100. Here we go. Don't worry, I'll take care of it. And 95 and 100 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 down Patrick. You want 100,000 down to get down 10 and 110 and 110 810 810 810,000 down to get down what do you want to pay to get down 110. I got 100,000 down to get down 10 10 10. You want 105 805 $805,000 and a half. Sold for $100,000, Patrick. Ready to get down, what are you paying? Have it down, ready to get down to get us in here. Ready to get down, 70, ready to get down, what are you paying? Have it down, 50. Ready to get down, $50,000, $60,000, and $60,000 down. Ready to get down, $60,000 down. Ready to get down, 70, and $70,000 and $70,000 down. Ready to get down, 70 grand down. Ready to get down, what do you want? Ready to get down, $70,000 and $70,000 and $70,000 down. Ready to get down, 70 grand, 70 grand, 70 grand down. Ready to get down, $70,000 and $70,000 and $70,000 down. Ready to get 80, 80, 80, 80, 80, 90, 90, 90, and $90,000 and 90,000 on it, and 90,000 on it, down to get down $90,000 down to pay to get down to get a 10 here to get down $90,000 and 90, 90, 100 and 95, 95, you want 95 and 100,000 on it, and 95 and 100 and 95 and 100 down to get down 95 and 100,000 down to get down to get down what do you want to pay, and 95 and 100 roll it away, and cash 95 and 100, now 10, 100 now 10, 110, 100 now 10, 110, you got credentials right here to get down 110, 810, 810, 10, 10, how to get down 110, E-Ray's in, 110,000 down and 110, 20, 120, 110, 20, 120,000 down and down, to get down 20, White, to get down 120, Craig, go ahead. 120, 120, 120,000 down and down, to get down 120, 120,000 down and down, to get down 20,000 down, anybody else all through? 120, 110, what do you got upstairs? 105 upstairs, 110 downstairs, 105, 110, 810,000 down and down, to get down 10, 10, 10, 810 and a half. So for 105,000.
Catalog title is in transit with just a little over 800 actual miles. A 2022 Dodge Challenger Hellcat Black Ghost Tribute, powered by a supercharged high-output Hemi engine, 8-speed automatic transmission.
About there, negative $250,000. You get $250,000 now. Negative 10, 10, 20. Negative cover at 30, 30, 40, 40, 50. You get 50, 60, 70. Negative cost 70. Negative 80. You get 80, 75. Online 80. You get 80, 95. Negative 90. Negative 100. You get negative 110. Negative 110. You get 10, 10. Negative 100. 10,000. 120. You get 120. 120. Negative 15. 20. You get 15. Negative 20. Negative 20. You get 117. 20. Negative 20. You get 120,000. Or negative 7. Negative 20. You get 120,000. Or negative 10. You get 122,000. Negative 20 is up here. You get 122,000. Negative J. Negative 5. Negative 2. 5. You get negative 5. Negative 5.
Suede trim panel doors, premium stitch dash, factory installed sunroof.
And now 5, negative 5, you get 5 to be a negative 5, negative 100, 25,000, you get 120 spin, negative 5, you get 5 to be a 5, negative, you got 22, no, I took 120 here, you got to be 122, you get 122, you get 122,000, negative, same amount of time, negative 20, you get 120, now 5, negative 5, you get 125,000, negative 5, negative 600 miles, ladies and gentlemen, you get 120, negative 5, you get 120,000, negative last, Apollo call, you get 120,000, negative 5, negative 125. So $120,000. It's only be 30, negative 30, 40, negative 40, negative 40, negative 50, negative 50, 60, $60,000, $70,000, negative 60, 70, $70,000, negative 80, $80,000, negative 70, 80, 90, $90,000, negative 90, $90,000, negative 90,000, negative 90,000, negative 90, negative 5, 90, negative 100, negative 100, $100,000,
Black bucket seats, black power convertible top, dual exhaust with chrome tips, Tice.
110, 800 down, negative 10, negative 10, 810, 20, negative 20, 810, negative 20, negative 20, 820 down, negative 20, negative 115 down, 8 button up Broadway, negative 10, 20, negative 20, negative 20, 820 down, negative, come on, Ty, get in there, 820 down, negative 20, 820 down, negative 20, 820 down, negative 20, negative 4 passes to the Hendricks Museum at all. What you got there, Woody? Negative 20. Negative 105 and now 10. 105, negative 10. 800 to down, negative 10. Negative 10. Last final call. 805, negative 10. 10, negative $110,000. Negative 10. Now 20. Negative 20. It's a down. Negative 20. Negative 15 time. 815 down. Negative 15. 815 down. Negative 15. Negative 15. 15,000 on there. Negative 110. Negative 15. 15. Negative 115,000 on there. All in, all fair. 815 down. Negative come away. 15. Negative 15. Negative 12. And now 15. It's negative 15. 815 down. Negative what do we do? 812. Negative 15. All in, all fair. It's negative 15. So $112,000. Woody.
Steve, you want to talk a little bit about the car, our history with the car, and I'll talk a little bit about what the video didn't talk about.
The car is something very special, but the cause is even better. We'll get to the cause. We'll let Craig tell you all about that and the good folks we have here. But this car was built to celebrate the 45th anniversary of Iacocca's iconic Mustang. Lee Iacocca, those of you that aren't paying attention, he is an incredible human being, icon in his own right. He was responsible for the Ford Mustang. He ran Chrysler back in the day, brought them back from a very bad place. And he also is known for some incredible restoration work that he got behind Ellis Island and the Statue of Liberty. But this is a tie-in with what Craig's going to talk about in a second. But the car itself is very, very special. Coach-built Mustang, one of only 45 built and sold in 2009. Designed by Michael Leone and built by the legendary Gavaglio family, metal crafters. They are legendary in their field. It's a coach-built Mustang. They only built 45, and this is number 15. And the car is spectacular, Craig, but the cause is even more important. Let's tell them about that.
So Ellis Island Honors helps immigrants and families, special ones that have come through Ellis Island, and the restoration of the building, which is fantastic, which Lee Iacocca was responsible for. The award ceremony, Carolyn and I were inducted into it last year. It truly is spectacular, and the work that they are doing, very commendable. The car was donated by the gentleman who runs the foundation. His son is here with us. So supporting culture events and programs around the nation, and all the money goes straight to the Ellis Island Honor Society.
And we also have this fabulous painting up there. You wonder why that's up there, but that
was painted here?
Yes, and the painter graciously decided they couldn't find a better cause than to include it with the car, so you're getting an absolute bonus there. But again, it's all about the cause. But this coach-built Iacocca Mustang is very special, folks. Let's rock and roll and get her sold.
All right, here we go. Right, heading down, pony pine, having it $100, heading it down 100, heading it down 50,000, and 50,000 $100, heading it down 75,000 $100, heading it down 75 pound $100, head 100, and 100,000 $100, and 100,000 $100, heading it down 1 down quarter, and 125 on him, heading it down 50, 850,000 $100, heading it down 1.5, half on him, heading it down 150, 850,000 $100, 850,000 $100, heading it down 1.5, half down 75, and 175 on him, heading it down 175 $100, heading it down 150, 175. $175,000 and 175 pounds an hour there. $175,000 down to get down 175 on here to get down 175.
You write the check straight to their foundation.
175 so $150,000 175 way. $175,000 everybody through, everybody done. I got 150,000 upstairs asking 175 and 175,000 down to get down 175 $175,000 all through, and I sold for $150,000.
Thank you very much.
Starbucks.
This is going to be the Reliable Carriers pick of the day. Reliable Carrier is proud to provide complimentary, fully enclosed transport services to get this vehicle to your home in lower 48 after the auction. To coordinate your transport home, please visit our booth in the auction office. Reliable Carriers, vehicle taken seriously. Here's lot number 740, 2020 Ford GT Heritage Edition, powered by the twin turbocharged 3.5-liter V6 engine, coupled with a quick shifting 7-speed dual clutch transmission, 216 top speed. Mr. Steve, tell them a little more.
And this is a one-owner car with 211 actual miles, folks. Here's an opportunity to buy some Ford history, some racing history, the Heritage version, picked as Reliable Carrier of the day. They could have picked any car on the sale. They chose this one, and I can see why, Mike. Let's get her sold, Joseph.
Here we go. Behind, pay to get down, pay to get down, pay to get down, 3, 4, 5, and 500, pay to get down, pay to get down, 500 pounds on it, and 555, and 500 on it, 600 pounds on it, and 600, 700, and 700, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, 9, 900 on $1 million, and $1 million one, and $1 million, and $1 million one, $1 million is bid, and $1 million one, 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 how to get $1 million one way, $1 million, $1 million, $100,000 one, two, $1 million one, and $1 million two, $1 million one, and $1 million two, $1 million one with Kevin and two, $1 million two, three, $1 million two, $1 million $300,000 down, to get $1 million two, $1 million three, $1 million three, $1 million two, $1 million $300,000 down, to get what do you want to pay to get $1 million three, $1 million $300,000, and $1 million three, and $1 million three, and $1 million $300,000 down, to get $1 million three, and $1 million three, and $1 million $300,000 down, to get okay, I had to get $1 million three, Shane, go ahead, $1 million three.
You can't go back to the dealership and just order one of these. They're all done. The golf cars are the rarest, and this is an opportunity right here.
3, I had to get $1 million three, and $1 million three, and $1 million $300,000 on it, and $1 million three, $1 million two and a half, and $1 million three, $1 million three rolled it away, and $1 million three, out of it to get $1 million three, and $1 million $300,000 down, out of it to get $1 three, all through, $1 million two, 50, now $1 million three, and $1 million two,
the rarest of all of them, right here in golf colors.
$1 million three, and $1 million three, and $1 million three, out of it to get down, everybody else crowd, how to get $1 million 275, and $1 million 275, and $1 million 275, and $1 million 275, 500, had to get all through, takes you out, $1 million $275,000, and $1 million 275, and $1 million 250, now 275, and $1 million 275, and $1 million three, and $1 million three, and $1 million 275, and $1 million three, and $1 million three, out of it to get down, Craig, one more time.
There you go. It's worth it. They both know it.
350, and $1 million three and a half, and $1 million 350, and $1 million three, first one to 1-4 wins. How about it? How did it get $1 million 325 then? $1 million 325, and $1 million 325, and $1 million 325, 5 million 325, 50, $1 million 350, $1 million 350, $1 million 350, $1 million $350,000 down, to get $1 million 350 down, and $1 million three and a half, $1 million three and a half, $1 million three and a half, down, all 3 and a half. So $1,325,000.
Sold on the internet.
Bucket list item right there. $1 million car and person at Barrett-Jackson.
That's $1 million 3.